do these projections assume the employee contributions percentage to remain the same
Yes.
throughout this period?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And the reality for you folks is, for better or worse, a huge portion of your liability is the retired teachers. So as long as your retired teachers are going to stay at the GIC, which I have no reason to believe that's not going to be the case, you guys have no control over that. You guys consider and say, hey, we're going to take our non-teachers from 40% to 50%. That's really as far as you can go. But the retired teachers, which is really where all the money is, that's a state law thing. So unless you have magic powers to make the state do something for you, that's really a liability you can't touch.
Fritz?
You made the statement that you're seeing returns on trusts at 7-8%. What are the restrictions and guidelines on the investments on a trust? Because generally when you have a trust, there's also going to be restrictions in how the money can be invested and what it can be invested in.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what your guys' rules are about trusts and what you guys can invest in.
To see that type of a
we
return in today's
yeah, we don't
market.
manage money, so I mean it's not really our concern. But I mean, again, it's generally a balanced portfolio of equities, stocks, bonds, et cetera, stuff like that. So it's all, it's very similar to stuff you invest your pension plans in. It's a very similar type of investment. So it's a long-term investment philosophy over the next 30, 40 years, however you set your investment policy. And
you're seeing 7-8% returns on these trusts in today's market?
That's what we've seen, yeah. Well, again, I mean, last year you were going to get 30% if you were in equity, so it was tough not to get 7 or 8% last year. This year, you're going to have a tougher time to get those kind of numbers. But again, these are not meant to be one-year numbers either. These are meant to be numbers over a 20, 30-year time horizon. So again, yeah, I mean, but you're going to be investing in something like a 50-50, 60-40, stock bond mix, again, depending on what you pick for your investment policy.
And you can pick anything for investment policies? You don't have to go to NAIC guidelines?
I don't know what NAIC would have anything to do with it, but I know you're talking about. Yeah, you have investment policy you have to deal with, and I don't know the state law about your investment policies because that's not something we get into. But I mean, Bartholomew and Pritt can help you certainly on that kind of stuff.
I just have a question.
Yep.
Is it the principal amount guaranteed, or is it just the interest rate that could be fluctuating, but you're not going to lose any of the principal that you put in, correct?
It entirely depends on how you decide to invest the money. If you're going to be in stocks and bonds, you can absolutely lose money. You can lose, if it's 2008 all over again, you're losing 20, 30%. And if you want to be in a guaranteed type portfolio, if you're doing that, we can't use 7%. We're going to use like 4% because you're just not going to get that kind of money on a guaranteed basis. So it's like anything in life, the returns do not come risk-free, at least not the returns that you're going to assume. So much like your pension plan, I mean, you see most people are about 7 3/4 right now. Some are up at 8%. But again, that's based on you are definitely taking risk, and you pay for that risk. So we'll hope you get paid for that risk.
Anyone else?
I'm just,
Yep.
it's more of a point than anything, but,
Yep.
it's something that the state wants to require. There's where a stronger pool of money can absorb some things. And, you're going town by town, and not saying that you're not doing a great
Yeah.
job or whatever, but if the state had just assumed it, it'd be a lot less, we're two towns. If we called ourselves a state in this district, I mean, that's it. We don't have a little bit more capacity like the state. You can probably find a few hundred rainy day funds or different things.
Yep.
And they would be more likely, I'm not saying that, every single can would go at the same speed or whatever, but I don't know, it just almost would seem like it would make more sense.
But the state has their own plan that is.
Oh, I know.
So their plan is highly underfunded as well. So going around the country talking to lots of folks, I can tell you that everybody's in the same boat. You're not alone. There's a couple places that have money, but generally most school districts, most towns are. There's not any money left over. You can talk all day long. The recession ended in 2009, but you talk to every town and school district I deal with, that's not the facts on the ground that they see. So National Economic Council will tell you one thing, but facts on the ground tell you something else. So.
Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Very
Thanks for having me.
comprehensive report. Thank you.
Thank you, Parker.
No problem. Think of other questions, email, call, whatever. We'll get you squared away.